I am a wanderer with a need to experience as much as I can in this life. I have a passion for food, travel, training, and the amazing people I meet along the way. As a professional strength athlete and Highland Games world champion, I plan to lift and throw myself around the world. This is my adventure. I am Matt Vincent. I am the DRIFTA LIFTA. The Scottish Highland Games have been around for over 1,000 years. If you're looking for somewhere to go hang out and listen to bagpipes and a bunch of bagpipes and some more bagpipes playing on, in the meanwhile, see some guys throw some rocks around a field, it's a bright spot for you. I compete in the heavy athletics, and I happen to be one of the best in the world at it.
See, there's a difference.
Heading to San Francisco CrossFit to go see Kelly Starrett, the supple leopard himself, the mobility guy. Hopefully he can help me out with some issues I've got with my ankle and hips, and the worst part of my life because I spend most of it sitting in a car like this, and so it's not exactly the best for being an athlete. First stop of this thing is we've made our way over to San Francisco CrossFit, home of Kelly Starrett, mobility wad. As an athlete, mobility is going to be a key for you to be able to stay healthy and be able to generate the force you need to for any of the sports that you're playing. If you get stiff and you're locked up and you're walking around like a robot, it's never going to work out as well as you can be as if you're fluid and able to really explode into things. You know, being able to be looser is going to help you generate more force and allow you to create more torque and tension and stay safe as an athlete. Gym's fucking rad. There's 4 great platforms and jerk boxes for Olympic lifts over there. This monster rig down the middle of it. You know, it doesn't suck that the Golden Gate Bridge is in view from in front of the gym. It's much different than my garage or the occasional gym at home.
So this built in 1904. Survived the earthquakes.
So cool, man.
We're not allowed to address the original fabric, but it has a good feel.
This was the first time I've ever met Kelly in person. I've been warned about how passionate he is about the stuff that he does. I've seen all of his YouTube videos and none of that's an act. We got there, and after a really short introduction, about 2 hours straight, he went on about mobility and how I could fix with the problems I have.
Make your combat stance your everyday stance.
What we want athletes to be doing is sort of not dividing your time.
Standing and smashing my leg is apparently just step 1. The next step was getting me on the table and going to work on my hips.
As I come to here, there's no resistance. But as soon as I get to here, I'm already pushing into resistance. Can you feel that?
Yep.
Normal range of motion is all the way back here. That's normal.
Right.
And you can see there's some load into that system, and you're completely rounded. So what's happened is and all my joints, it should be like driving an old car. Don't know where first and third is, right? So this is your total rotation window. Can you see that you've got about, let's be honest, 6 degrees? We want about 30 degrees of inter-rotation, right?
Okay.
Which is all the way over here.
That's great.
What I would do, because he's a big guy, is watch, I'm gonna really load this thing up. That's the position, and then I add the rotation and distraction. And it should feel like a Wolverine's gnawing on your bits, right?
That was good.
Yep. But as we retest, let me show what happens when I clamp in rotation. See how I have more flexion without resistance? That's right. And then look at the rotational capacity. Suddenly, I have a lot more rotation without having to work on it. Remember, world champion, best in the world. Yeah. And the question is not, are you the best in the world? The question is, how much better can we get you?
Right.
And how long can you do that? Let's see your squat. Does it feel better, same, or worse? Can you notice the difference in your hip?
It's definitely better. I'm sure shit better than, well, I'm not in pain.
This is what we're after, and it doesn't feel like it's just bunching up.
No, that would have felt terrible. It's awesome. Half an hour ago. Dude, huge help. Thanks for everything, man.
Pleasure.
Really, really
Don't change
great.
the world.
Just because I had got the advice from Kelly doesn't mean things are going to go as planned. Got out to the field and dug myself a little bit of a hole. First thing we threw is a Braemar stone. It's a 22-pound stone. You throw standing. It's throwing a rock as far as you can. God, trying to ice the kicker here. Like, hey, we need to remeasure some stuff. Bush league. Woo!
Vincent won the World Championship last weekend in Scotland.
Who's in the lead? Who's in the lead? Big snap, cat! Randy Savage would have been proud. As of right now, behind Dan, in front of Scott, but Scott's going to get a bigger throw. We'll see. There you go. You got me. Braemar stone, starting it off, 6th place. Not where I wanted to be. I basically came in last of the entire top group of guys, so at least I can start digging myself out of a hole now. So this will be fun. So after the full-on assault that Kelly put on my joints, I was able to sit and chat with he and his wife Juliet about some of the other stuff they're working on. I know you guys are doing the mobility stuff, but with athletes, but the other thing you guys are really addressing is starting to bring mobility and physical education back to kids in school and starting attacking correct movement patterns at the source. Not a throw.
What we're really trying to move towards is to create standards that everyone can see. Do your kids walk with their feet straight forward, yes or no?
Right.
If not, fix it. Right? It's probably not an intervention that needs a physical therapist. You can just probably say walk with your feet straight, kid.
Yeah, you can make it. I mean, I'm pigeon-toed naturally, but I can walk without pain with my feet facing forward if I make a conscious decision to do it.
Same with me. I'm the opposite. I have the worst duck-footed walk, and it's better than when I started trying to fix it 2 years ago, but it's going to take me like 10 years to fix it.
And he walks perfect, and we're world champions. You're going to put the rock on your hand so that it's towards your fingers. And then you're going to push it against your neck?
You know, we got interested originally because we started seeing that kids started heel striking in about 1st grade. Like, no one heel strikes in kindergarten. What happens? Like, half of those kids halfway through 1st grade start to heel strike. We also started seeing that all the athletes we were working with were sitting, 12 to 16 hours a day. The research is unequivocally clear that you cannot sit. We just started an experiment at our school. So we adopted George's class. She's our 9-year-old 4th grade. And we dropped it in, and guess what? We think it's the first standing classroom in California.
Girls are just crushing boys in school right now.
Naturally. Really? I have 2 daughters.
Graduation rates, grades, every academic marker, and the theory now is that it's because boys in particular are being really negatively affected by not getting enough opportunity to move.
And then
Mark our words, in 10 years, you'll have Olympians who are like, I grew up in a standing school. Of course. Like, you sat, sorry about that.
And jump and turn.
The real issue is that we're trying to have athletes sort of, and people back into this ready state. They should be able to do the things they should be able to do as human beings.
No, that was good.
How do we really start to see the best that humans can be? Well, we've got to have a conversation about environmental demands. Otherwise, we're going to keep making the same type 1 error over and over.
You guys have fun learning how to throw a stone?
Sure.
Yes?
It's my first time I've ever gotten to throw stones.
You gotta be careful with it. Dangerous tool. A lot of responsibility comes with learning how to do it. The Scottish hammer is either 22 pounds or 16 pounds. You wind it around your head about 3 times and then you launch it as far as you can. Hopefully you don't die when you finish. Man, that hammer feels really good. It's fast. Yeah, it's getting better, man. I still haven't found the big PR. That's cheating. All right, so a little bit of comeback in that event. Hammer threw right at a personal best, 140'6". If I have thrown better than that, I sure as hell don't remember it. But that one felt really good, and took me from sitting third into second.
140 feet, 6 inches.
Should be fun. Off to the heavyweight for distance now. Yay!
Complete it here.
Heavyweight for distance is by far the man maker of all of our events. 56 pounds in one hand, it's just gonna beat you up. So you gotta be prepared to throw it. This is the one that guys come in and think they're strong. It just abuses them. I hit it good. There's not a whole lot left.
You know better than me.
Yes, I do. I'm an author.
Gosh, you're good.
Gosh, you're good, man.
I just can't do it.
Go! Gosh, Biff, how are you so good with the ladies? That was a foul if I've ever seen it. Despite being really tough competitors with each other, Scotty and I are friends off the field.
Oh, big man. Oh, thanks for picking me up. I'm starving.
Oh, dude.
This is getting off the main machine.
Yeah, this is a Prius, baby. We could plug this fucker into the wall and charge it. So being able to take him into San Francisco and show him some proper fish tacos, something that Limey Bridge can't get back home. Do 3 of the Baja style fish tacos. Nick's way. Do yourself a favor. Take a fucking bite of that thing. Enjoy yourself. You're in California and you're on the West Coast. Fish tacos. These have the proper amount of batter. They have a ton of guacamole. You have to have the cabbage in there. Really good. How's that? Yeah. So after a couple beers and fish tacos, I got a chance to educate Scotty on what proper football really is. 49ers scored. Super important. They score once every week. And then they're like, oh, no worries, we ended in a tie. Fuck it, we'll just go home. Cool. Nobody won today, we just wasted 90 minutes.
How do I feel like that?
What do you look at it? Like, no one won.
Well, there are boring games that are 0-0. Not all 0-0 games are boring. Sometimes you get 0-0 full of adventure.
Full of adventure? Stick with us for next time for more bagpipes, throwing, burgers, and more bagpipes while we get over to go see Jesse Burdick over in Pleasanton, his gym at CSA Academy. One of the best things about traveling is getting to eat awesome food. The West Coast for me is all about tacos, and Tacolicious in San Francisco is as good a place as any to grab a bite.
And taco of the week sounds awesome.
It's really good, man.
Yeah, it sounds really kick-ass, man.
Looks great. Good IPA beer to cut with the spicy food. It's going to be real nice from a local brew, San Francisco Brewing. Short ribs, carnitas, chorizo, fish, and their taco of the day, which is the chicken with beer. Should be really, really great. Keep up with the taco tradition here in San Francisco this week. Cabbage and fish taco, the way to go. Punching out of San Francisco, we headed over to talk with my coach, Jesse Burdick. Jesse is the resident meathead and strength coach at CSA in Pleasanton, California. This gym has everything, MMA, CrossFit, and powerlifting, and Jesse's the guy there to help all those athletes reach their potential. His knowledge on training and diet helped me drop 30 pounds last year and become a better athlete. So here with Jesse Burdick at CSA. Jesse's been working with me for the last year or so, trying to make me less fat, make me a better athlete. And I want to talk to him a little bit about that and about trying to keep your nutrition in the right spots. Road food. Competing 20 times a year is tough.
It's brutal.
You know, especially with all the travel. I mean,
you're traveling a lot, you know, which is going to go ahead and screw with your hormones, with your insulin levels. You're trying to eat on the go. You're doing your best. You just don't know exactly how to kind of do it. And a lot of people see this as a grand problem. And what I want to do is just really try and make it very, very easy and very, very simple. We can go ahead and make this not a total lifestyle change. It's going to be something that you just kind of add on, and then it's going to go ahead and help your athletic, career.
This is not the most ideal thing to eat in the world. However, sometimes when you're on the road and you're competing, you can do some damage control. Protein style, in and out, you're in California, no reason to miss it. No one even likes bread. It's not even the most delicious part of the whole thing. And I think you can up your gains as long as you're eating on a reverse hyper too. That's a pro tip.
Patented.
While crushing burgers and tacos is great fun, I still got work to do. First up for the day, crowd favorite, the caber. Not only is the caber the most recognizable of all the heavy events, it's also the most challenging. Keep it together, Cass. It requires a combination of speed, power, strength, and technique to hit it right. There's some rules that are going to apply to all athletes.
Right, always.
And so what are your goals trying to work with, say, a fighter who, their total is not important?
Well, one of the rules that I kind of live by, and it's just, as a strength and conditioning coach, is, strength is never weakness. Now, that doesn't mean that they need to, squat out of the monolift in briefs and, but there is elements of their game that need to be brought up, strength-wise. One of the rules that's going to go across every sport is, putting people in good position and realizing those positions and moving from those positions. So my job is to make sure that they don't get hurt while they're here and are able to perform when they're in the ring.
Historically, caber has not been a strong event for me. Scotty, however, is one of the best in the world, so I'm really going to have to concentrate to keep it close. Improving performance is what training has always been about for me. I train my ass off, and that way I know when competition comes, I can get the job done. Scott and I have battled back and forth all day. Having the confidence to know that when I need to perform, I can because I work hard in training is priceless. Luckily, I nailed the caber. This is going to leave it in Scott's hands, so he has to keep it close.
Look at the speed of that. Look at that.
You can see from his wildly animated behavior that he didn't quite get it done. The big changes, like you said, with dealing with dropping weight, man, I went through that this season. After I lost the 25 pounds, it really wasn't a big strength loss for me. I was able to maintain that really well. The difference became that 25 pounds, if I'm throwing a 56-pound object, that's a big percentage. That's a change-up. And
Absolutely.
So I've got to lean further. My timing gets really different.
Yes.
I can get further back.
Yes.
Leverages change. And so I had a point in the season where I was frustrated.
I remember that. You sent me about a text message about this long.
Finish the throw, stupid! And the decision was, I've either got to be okay with being healthier and not throwing as far, fuck, or get to work.
Right.
Finish your pull, stupid. And what fixes my throwing is me going to spend 4 days a week throwing.
Right.
Now time to get that sport-specific strength and get it back dialed in.
Absolutely. If you take a look, that's your transition from off-season to in-season.
That's exactly what it was.
And then as you start to transition in, obviously you got to do more of what your sport is, or you're not going to be really good at your sport.
Yeah. I no-heighted 14 2 years ago, left all three out in front, and lost the national championship because of it. Had a 6.5 point lead going into the event. It's the last event of the day. Wah, wah, wah. Beers were had. Losing a national championship because you shit the bed sucks. After that experience, I decided to change my plan and become the best athlete I could. Utilizing Jesse was a big part of this plan for me. Powerlifter athletes for a lot of times have used the crutch of being fat
Yes.
as something useful.
Like when I walked into my first powerlifting gym, they're like, how tall are you? I said 6'2". Like, okay, you need to be 320 pounds to be a good powerlifter. You want to be a good powerlifter? Yes, you got to be 320 pounds. I was like, well, I'm 200 right now. Okay, I guess if that's what I have to do in order to be, successful, I will.
Nothing's a foolproof plan, and the way I look at it is you've just got to stack the cards in your favor to be at the best that you can be.
Absolutely, and I mean that's what hopefully that's a great analogy, and hopefully all I was able to do is just give you a couple of cards, which is the plan. I could give you a giant spreadsheet with all this shit on it, but I mean what good is that going to do for a lot of people? Some people need that.
Yeah.
But for a lot of stuff, you're like, well, I'm doing a lot. I am a world champion. I'm doing okay. It's like, yeah, but you
could be a lot better.
Be better.
That's the real tragedy right there.
Yeah. I want to be able to throw and compete at the level I'm at until it's no longer fun.
Right.
Not because my body stops.
Sure.
After weight over bar, we moved to the sheaf. I never pictured myself traveling the world with my personal pitchfork. Let's just say it creates some funny looks at the airport. Scotty, living in London, does the majority of his competitions in the UK. Lucky for me, they don't throw a lot of sheep over there. So this is a great opportunity for me to take a couple points out of him. Wrapping a day of competition with a field record, an event win, and a personal best is always great. This gave me a 2-point cushion going into the last day. The last events are strong for both of us. We have hammer, lightweight for distance, and the stones. So it's really going to be a fight. Next time I head to Sacramento and I get a chance to talk and train with Mark Bell. I got a chance to learn some new training tips, be part of his podcast, and talk about his never-ending hustle in becoming a meathead millionaire. Back into the fight at the Pleasanton Highland Games. I've made a lot of improvements to my game this offseason, but so has everyone else. Finished up day one, and Dan has clearly run away with it a little bit, bearing something incredible today. Most likely he's got it, and for the 5th straight time, he deserves it. But right now, Scotty and I are gonna really fight it out for second. And so we both got some great events coming up. We've got lightweight for distance, which will just be a battle between the two of us, really a toss-up. The open stone's a good event for both of us. I think he's probably got the advantage. And then for the hammer, I've got the advantage between the two of us. So I'm not sure how it's gonna end up, but we're gonna fight it out. The open stone is just like the shot put. It's a 16-pound stone. You're gonna attempt to throw it just as far as you can. The Highland Games brings a lot of athletes from a lot of different backgrounds in. Scott, for example, is a former Olympian. He's also been the UK's best shot putter for a number of years. It's guys like him that force you to work all year to get better.
Over to the professional, VINCENT, the current world champion for throw.
Outside of this intense competition, I got a chance to sit down with Mark and Andy Bell. They've done an amazing job of turning his passion for powerlifting into a booming business. With things like Power Magazine, the Powercast, Super Training Gym, and Slingshot, Mark and Andy have done a great job of turning passion and hard work into a lifestyle.
You know, I powerlifted since I was I'm like 13 or 14 years old, so I always knew that that was always going to be there.
Love lifting.
Yeah, I love lifting, and I remember, you know, going to contests, and there'd be guys there that are 40 years old, bench pressing 500 pounds, and I'm like, shit, this is great. You can do this for so long.
Super Training Gym is the hub of Mark's universe. This is where Mark gets to spend time with athletes from all over the country, helping them reach their goals in powerlifting. Mark uses his 30 years of expert knowledge and strength training to help build this gym to the strongest on the West Coast.
If you walk with the lame, you'll develop a limp. True. And that's something I carried with me out here. When we moved here, I just kind of got to thinking, like, I need my own spot where I can bring in my own guys and we can have this kind of team type thing just like they have at Westside. I just remember being at Westside, seeing, you know, Chuck Vogelpool squat, you know, like 1,100 pounds or 800 pounds with all this band and chain tension on there and stuff. And, you know, when people come into my gym and they say, I want to squat 800 pounds, I've helped people do that before. That's common. You know, 400-pound bench is very common, 500-pound benches, there's a few of us in the gym. But when people go to these places and it's uncommon, what do you think the results are going to be? You know, you go to 24-hour fitness and you ask a trainer, hey man, my goal is to bench 400, they might go 400. Like, that's a lot of weight, man. Like, I don't know. But in my gym, we say, we'll get you there.
Super Training, you know, the gym, the powerlifting gym that you've got over there, you don't charge members. And I think that's a really, really interesting thing for a guy who's the entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
it's you know, somebody in the gym asked me, they said, you know, why is the gym free? I said, because I want to be rich. And so part of this whole process is me giving back, and that's a way, and I love it. I fucking love it. The things that came from Super Training, I can't ever pay back, you know, and it's not just for me. It's from everybody that's been involved in there. The Slingshot would have never came to be. Power Magazine would never, you know, none of that stuff would exist without that quality, without that gym, you know.
Press.
Good, last one.
Press.
strength training is going to be a critical part for any athlete to succeed. However, this is just one small part of the puzzle. Having the proper technique in your sport is just as important. You'll never be able to maximize your strength and performance unless your technique is dialed in. In the Scottish Highland Games, the hammer is going to be the best proof of this. This event is all speed and technique. You'll never be able to muscle this one out there. Oh! Go! With Scotty taking a point out of me at the stone, the hammer is going to be my chance to steal one back. Sometimes shit just falls apart. No matter what you do, everything feels heavy and shit just doesn't go your way. Injuries and plateaus are just part of the game. How you fight back from injuries is what separates champions from everyone else.
Real important for people to understand is, like, we all eat shit. You know, we both ate shit together for a while. You know, we both weren't exactly happy with where everything...
Yeah, I got lumped into that.
Oh, sorry. But
you lived in Ohio.
We just, you know, weren't in the place that we wanted to be. And so we kind of just took it upon ourselves to make the moves that we needed to keep moving us forward.
It's easy to look at Mark's success and think this happened overnight. The truth is, being successful on your own terms is one of the hardest roads out there.
Quinn, who's 7 now, was just born. We had just bought a house, and then I lost my job, and it came out of nowhere. And at that point, I was kind of the main income earner for our family. And
main only.
Main only. And kind of panicked and, you know, went on unemployment and tried to find a job and didn't know what was going to happen.
So both of you basically
we had no money.
Income.
Yeah. So we started thinking about, well, what are the two things that we're passionate about and that we like? And I really loved working in the magazine industry. He's a powerlifter, so we thought, well, there's really only one powerlifting magazine.
That's terrible.
I was also looking at that.
I
remember physically looking at the magazine. I'm like, this magazine's just not that good. Right. And she's like, well, we can make our own. And I was like, we can?
Mark and Andy's background as top-level athletes is going to allow them to know how to grind through those hard times to keep getting where they're going. Whether in competition or work, pressure is always going to show its face. And at the end of the day, preparation is what's going to make the difference in whether you rise to the challenge or you crumble and fail. Going into the last event right now, Dan McKim is still solidly in place in first place, but second place right now is still a battle between me and Scott. This is the last event. I'm up right now by a half point, so it's really going to come down to whoever wins this event is going to take second place. So it's going to be a fight.
Second place. 98 feet 10.
Come on. Yeah! Wow! Pleasure. This pressure isn't just found in athletics. These lessons that I've learned from training, traveling, and competing, they help me in everyday life. You know, a lot of people only end up seeing a finished product and think like, well, geez,
right.
Yeah.
If I had that look, and you know, like, man,
Or
fuck
I
you.
thought of that.
Yeah, we've had a lot of
You
people
know
tell
what?
us that, yeah.
You know what? Well, you didn't do it. Right. And not only that, like, you didn't go through the trials and tribulations and the failure.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the biggest thing. Bringing
to
it to
keep
market.
pushing. Yeah.
Is huge.
I was working on the slingshot for a good 3 years or so before anything really happened.
Right. It took a really
It was in my
long
head, and I told a bunch of people,
Yeah.
and they said, that's a horrible idea.
yeah.
Seems, I don't know if it's gonna work.
Yeah.
I appreciate how much work goes into the entire thing, and not only that, you know, that it isn't overnight success.
Right.
You know, people will think it is, and then.
Yeah, they say it takes 20 years to be an overnight success.
It's exactly right. I think there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah. You know, just start something. Just whatever it is that's in your head, just work on making it happen. Like if you have
Don't be so scared to fail.
if you haven't
Right, failure. Yeah, everyone's going to eat through it. I mean, they talk about Donald Trump's been bankrupt twice.
Right. You know, a lot of people they'll say, "Oh, you know, I got this concept, but I'm going to work on it down the road."
Yeah.
Why down the road? Why not start doing as much as you can? Maybe you don't have the finances to start whatever it is that you're trying to start, but get everything in place so that someday you can pitch the idea to somebody, or you can figure out a way to get that thing started.
You know, I get phone calls from people every day that are telling me, like, you know, I'm 50 years old and I haven't benched in, you know, 15 years because I can't, and they're crying on the phone.
Inspiring people and pursuing your passion is what I love. Mark and Andy have been a huge inspiration for me and this entire project. Having the unique ability I've got to travel and compete, I want to share these stories and lessons with as many people as I can. So, finished up day 2, managed to hold on to second place. Scott came in just behind me in the lightweight for distance, so just as close as it could be. Dan McKim managed first. That guy's as good as it gets right now. Keep moving forward. Back home, ready to train. Cheers. Competing's great, but at the end of the day, I want to meet passionate people that inspire me to be better. Mark, Andy, Kelly, and Jesse have been big inspirations for me. They've helped me push myself outside of my comfort zone and make the most of what I've got going. Being able to share this information with you has been great for me. I hope you've enjoyed it. Stick around. More DRIFTA LIFTA to come. Woo!
It should feel like one ring's not on your head, right?